Today, we are diving into one of the most incredible stories from India's legal history. Seriously, it's a real-life David versus Goliath situation, a lone spiritual leader taking on the full power of the government. This is the story of the case that in many ways saved India's constitution from being torn apart.
And at the absolute heart of this whole thing is this one powerful idea. The power to amend is not the power to destroy. You know, that single sentence really frames the entire constitutional crisis we're about to get into. It makes you ask a huge question. Are there limits to power, even the power of a government that the people elected?
So, who was it that sparked this massive, nation-defining debate? Well, it all starts with one man and his fight for his sacred land.
Okay, so on one side, you've got Swami Kesavananda Bharati. He's the head of a Hindu monastery, and the land they're on is absolutely essential for all their religious and charity work. But on the other side, the government is rolling out these sweeping land reforms, basically designed to take property from big landowners and redistribute it. And yeah, you can see where this is going. A direct conflict was pretty much inevitable.
So what did the Swami do? He didn't just roll over and accept it. No way. He took his fight all the way to India's Supreme Court. And his argument, it was actually pretty simple but totally profound. He said the government's laws were violating his fundamental rights, specifically his right to manage his own religious property.
And this right here is the moment where a dispute that seemed kind of local just explodes into a massive, full-blown constitutional crisis. It raised a question that would really shake the very foundations of the entire nation.
All of a sudden, this case wasn't just about one monastery's land anymore. It forced the Supreme Court to answer this enormous question. Does the Indian Parliament have the power to change or even completely rewrite any part of the Constitution it wants? Just think about that for a second. Could a government, just because it has enough votes, decide to just erase our fundamental rights?
This whole thing really set the stage for a major clash of ideas. On one side, you had Parliament, which believed it had pretty much unlimited power to amend the Constitution to bring about social change. And on the other, you had the Judiciary, which saw its job as being the ultimate guardian of that Constitution, there to protect citizens from the state. It was a true constitutional showdown.
And when I say showdown, I really mean it. This wasn't just some other court case. It became the largest, most important legal battle in the entire history of India.
To handle a case this massive, the Supreme Court had to assemble its largest bench ever. We're talking 13 judges. Can you just imagine the pressure and the weight of the arguments going on in that courtroom?
And they did not rush this. The hearings went on for a marathon 68 days. That's 68 days of just incredibly intense legal debate that was literally going to decide the future of India's democracy.
And after all of that, the final verdict came down to the slimmest possible majority, 7-6. The fate of India's entire constitution was decided by a single vote. It just does not get any closer than that.
So what did that one vote actually decide? Well, it gave birth to a revolutionary new legal idea, the basic structure doctrine. A brand new rule for the Constitution was born.
And here's the crucial takeaway. The court said that, yes, Parliament's power to amend the Constitution is incredibly broad, but it is not absolute. It's not unlimited. There's a line it can't cross.
So this is the doctrine itself. The basic structure doctrine is basically the idea that a constitution has certain essential features. You could call it its core identity or its soul that simply cannot be erased or destroyed by lawmakers, no matter how big their majority is. Just like we said at the beginning, the power to amend isn't the power to destroy.
So what are these essential features? Well, the court never gave a complete final list, but over time, certain principles have emerged that are considered part of this basic structure. Think of them as the foundational pillars of democracy. Things like the supremacy of the Constitution itself, making sure no government is above the law, the separation of powers between different branches of government, and the fundamental secular character of the nation. These are the core ideas that just can't be touched.
Okay, so a new legal doctrine was born. But why does this decision, which is about 50 years old now, still matter so much today? Let's break down its incredible, lasting legacy.
You can really see its impact in 3 key ways. First, it puts a limit on Parliament, making it crystal clear that the Constitution, not whatever government is in power, is the supreme law of the land. Second, it empowers the judiciary, solidifying its role as the final guardian of that Constitution. And third, and this is probably the most important one, it protects democracy itself, making sure that core values can't just be voted away by a temporary majority.
This ruling really caused a fundamental shift in the balance of power in India. After this, the judiciary was firmly established as the final interpreter, the ultimate guardian of the Constitution.
So from a single monk's fight for his monastery's land, this doctrine was born that reshaped an entire nation's democracy. It established that some principles are just too fundamental to be changed. But that leaves us with a really big final question to think about. If a constitution's core is untouchable, who really has the ultimate power? Is it the elected representatives of the people, or is it the unelected judges who get to decide what that core actually is? It's a tension that sits right at the heart of so many modern democracies.